Hello, happy people. Welcome once again to Wisdom Beacons. And then I keep sharing a lot of issues with us. I keep motivating us. I keep telling us things that we need to identify as people that want to get somewhere in life. And today I'm proud to bring to you, in fact, I'm knocking on your door with this very issue. And it's about branding. It's about being original. It's about, setting yourself apart. So you stay put. We'll be back and then we'll talk more. Welcome. And I'm proud to be your motivator. My name is Elorm Asomaning. And then today we are talking about branding. Now, most often we want to do things. We want to sing. We want to write. We want to do movies. We want to engage in a lot of activities. Why do you want to engage yourself in these activities? Is it just for the monetary gain? Is it just for the fun of it? Or you're doing it just so you'll be identified as somebody who is different? Or you want to set yourself apart? And I'm sure you're doing these things. You're being productive in order to set yourself apart because you want to be related. In fact, you want to be attached to whatever you create. So your branding can stand out. It can be on its own. Your writing skills can stand out and be on its own. The way you sing can stand out and be on its own. There are a lot of songs we have on the market right now, and personally, I'm getting tired of the same instrumentations. I'm getting tired of the same lyrics. I'm getting tired of rap everywhere. But all the same, even if you still want to do it, you're still trying to set yourself apart. You don't want to be identified as someone else, or you don't want to sound in a way, or you don't want to write in a way that somebody will read and begin to feel like, oh, it's somebody else that wrote this. You'll be proud to be attached to whatever you do. So there's the need for us to remain original with everything we do. There's a need for us to remain creative with our skills. You wouldn't want to be behind somebody's brand. Let's say you sing as Mr. A, or you took Mr. A as your role model. You're a musician, and you took Mr. A as your role model since infancy. And now you're grown. You can sing all right, but you're singing like Mr. A. Ask yourself, what am I doing? I can sing all right, but I'm singing like Mr. A. You need to be honest with yourself because you have to know if you're singing like Mr. A. It's not your fault to be singing like Mr. A because he's somebody or she's somebody you've been looking up to whilst growing up. So now that you've discovered your dream, you've discovered that you can sing, you happen to be singing like Mr. A. It's okay, you're singing all right. But ask yourself, am I singing like Mr. A to be a second of Mr. A, or I'm singing to be B? Even though I saw Mr. A as my role model, but I want to set my own standards. I want to be different. I want to create my own brand. Now, there's the need for you to create your own branding because you're into this business in order to be identified as Mr. B. You're not in this business in order to be identified as Mr. A. So it's very important to be honest with yourself and assess yourself. Ask around. I sing all right, but do I sound like Mr. A or I'm sounding like myself? And sometimes you have to be able to tell as an individual that the way you're sounding like Mr. A. So there's the need for me to sound like myself. Because seriously, most of us do these things and then we don't seem to make the name for ourselves. People hear what we do and they begin to feel like it was the other person that did it when you did it. People see you and they say you're acting like this, you're acting like that. You are branding yourself. And indirectly, when the moment they begin to say that, it means that they're still seeing that person in their heads. You're still bringing back that person's image. You're still painting that person's image in their heads. So in effect, you're not branding yourself, but you're still branding that very person they are seeing in you. But they won't see you. So indirectly, you are selling that person's brand instead of selling your own brand. You can sing and you're singing like Michael Jackson. People are tired of Michael Jackson. People are tired of all the big artists we know. They want to have something new. They want you to serve them with something new. So you're doing a lot of harm to yourself. Even though you think that because you're singing like Michael Jackson, you're special, you're doing a harm to yourself. One, the first risk or the first harm you're doing to yourself is that you're not bringing yourself to the market. You're not branding yourself at all. Nobody knows you. You're not branding yourself. The second risk or the second harm you're doing to yourself is that you're still promoting that person's brand. You're still promoting that person's brand since he's always been your protege or he's always been like a role model to you. It's not wrong to pick a role model, but we should be very careful the way we pick role models. Picking a role model is to be good. Picking a role model is to be identified or is to have the abilities, to cultivate the abilities. If it's singing, cultivate that singing abilities. How do you want to sing? You understand? How do you want to sing? Do you want to sing as he's singing, or do you want to sing differently? Do you want to act like him? You should just pick certain directions. That's why you have to pick a role model. To always look up to the person. But it's not for you to be exactly like the person. You're just picking a few techniques. You're just picking a few directives. That's what you're doing. But you're not supposed to be like him. Let's get it straight. You are not supposed to be like a role model. Otherwise, you will be selling your role model while you still be behind the doors. You still be in darkness because nobody knows about you. And the moment you appear, because you're sounding like the person they know, they wouldn't be interested in you. They wouldn't be interested in your branding. So you see, it's very important that we are original with the way we produce. It's very important that we are original with the way we come out with our character, the way we come out with things, with our ideas. It's very important that we are original so people can identify us with what we are doing. So people can attach us with what we are doing. Work in a way, produce in a way that someone will see and say that, wow, you did it. Because the way you do it is different. Nobody has been able to do it the way you do it. Whether good or bad, that's how you do it. Even though there's a need for you to refine it, there's a need for you to refine it. But it has to be your style. It needs to be your style. It needs to be the way you do it. And once you've been able to identify with the way you do it, you clean it up. You straighten the edges. And then outdoor yourself. It cuts across. Being original cuts across. Whether you're into manufacturing of cars, whether you're a writer, whether you're an actor, whether you're whoever, it's very important that you are unique with the way you come out, with the way you practice your potentials. Lest you end up selling someone else's brand. You need to be original. There is the need for us to be original as Africans. Our identity is different from those out there. Our identity is different from the Western world. We are Africans. I'm a Ghanaian, and I want to sound like a Ghanaian. I want to have a name that sounds Ghanaian. I don't want to have a name that makes me sound like a white person. I'm not a white person, I'm a Ghanaian. I want to be original. So the moment I mention my name, Elorm, somebody should be able to identify with where I'm coming from. I don't need to go explaining or giving any explanation as to where I'm from. Because I'm unique. I'm an African and a Ghanaian for that matter. So please, let's know how we follow our role models. Let's know how we look up to them. Let's be careful that the day we arrive and want to do our own things, we don't end up sounding like them. We don't end up acting like them. We don't end up writing like them. We don't end up producing like them. We don't end up singing like them. But we should end up having a reflection of ourselves in whatever we are producing. So when this person, someone else sees your brand, the person will ask, who did this? It's natural, it's original, it's beautiful. But I want to know who did this because I've never seen it before. I've never touched it anywhere. I've never heard it anywhere. I've never seen it on any movie. I've never seen anybody act like him. Then you know you are getting somewhere. Then you know your name is selling. Then you know your brand is selling properly. Branding is essential. You have to learn to brand yourself. We need to learn to brand ourselves properly. Lest you end up selling someone else's brand. You sing like Michael Jackson, you are selling Michael Jackson's brand. If you act like Denzel Washington, you end up acting like him and you end up selling his brand. Be yourself. Identify with your originality. Be original with the way you produce. There's so many ways of doing things. There's so many ways of coming out with things. Don't be lazy. Think of how differently you can come out. Think of how differently you can launch yourself. Think of how differently you can put yourself on the market out there and let people accept you. Present yourself in a unique way. And trust me, you will be seen as genuine. Your style will be set apart. Your creatives will be set apart. They'll be genuine and be appealing to a lot of people. So be original, be genuine, and know how to follow your role models. Thank you very much. I hope you've been inspired and motivated. My name is Elorm Asomaning. Hope to see you again. Take care. Cheers.